The departure of Zven and Mithy to G2 Esports was a devastating blow to the entire Origen organization. Despite negotiations, Zven and Mithy were adamant about going to another team together. Here's what the duo had to say once the news broke. Zven understood that the Origen fanbase felt betrayed over this decision. All he wrote in his Facebook post was that he was grateful for his time on the team but felt he was ready to move on. For Mithy, he explained that in December before the start of the 2016 season, he had an offer to join TSM in North America. He turned it down in favor of his loyalty towards Origen. However, as time went along in the spring, the environment in Origen turned for the worst. Mithy stated, "The environment in OG was pretty bad during the spring split and I started to feel very down. My mother even came to Berlin to try to give me some mental stability because she could feel how devastated I was just by Skyping with her. At that point, I began to realize I needed something to change in my life." Mithy also explained how he felt it was best for him to stick with Zven. His bond with him is very close and felt it was best to pursue something together instead of joining TSM on his own. Unfortunately, the duo did not leave in the greatest terms with their teammates. Amazing was pissed. In a series of tweets, Amazing was not happy over the fact that they left for a direct competitor in G2, the team they lost to in the spring finals. Amazing also tweeted that they left without informing the team personally. He heard this news through Reddit rumors rather than directly from Zven or Mithy. Nonetheless, this departure was a significant loss for the team. Zven was the only one in the spring split to continue his dominating performance while everyone else on the team regressed. To fill these vacancies, Origen signed Forgiven, formerly of H2K, and Hybrid, formerly of G2 Esports. Heading into the summer split, Team Origen's expectations for success wasn't great, but most of the community were cautious to count them out immediately. After all, Forgiven and Hybrid are relatively good acquisitions to pick up the pieces that the former bot lane left behind. Since Riot moved the EULCS into a best-of-3 format, Origen had a lot to prove in Week 1, going up against Zven and Mithy in G2 as well as the Unicorns of Love. Game 1 of the best-of-3 series against G2 was a disaster. At no point was Origen ever ahead aside from First Blood. From then on, every single skirmish and teamfight went in favor of G2 Esports.
That plus 15 move speed now, we'll talk about that later because the chains of corruption are on to Mithy, who has to flash. As Amazing is exhausted, down trick comes in for some relief, pitching the fishes on. Hybrid getting chomped, and now Perks gets a killing spree to pick up Amazing, looks for power, return, that's a double kill for the fish.
G2 held the lead and controlled it, giving Origen no opportunities to come back. Game 2, however, Origen seemed to have returned to form. Soaz was able to shine in the early game, obtaining First Blood and pulling out his signature teleport escape.
And one thing we're going to see more now on some of these mid laners like Azir. We'll talk about it after because it's an all-in top.
Yeah, this is a big bruisery fight. Kikis throws the Maelstrom on as Soaz had already spent his ultimate. The flash for flash trading. Kikis goes a little far forward, and Soaz gets the outplay. Teleporting out of there. Will he make it? Yes, he will!
Soaz always does it. I don't know how.
Amazing was able to redeem himself from his finals performance by stealing Baron.
Here we go, he goes up, he goes down. Will he stay out long enough to get the smite off? No, they turn their attention, he steals it away! Amazing gives his life for the Origen cause!
At this point, Origen was able to take control and win fights in a dominant manner. As it seemed that Origen was able to tie, Amazing got caught. Off this one catch with 3 Mound Drakes to G2's name, the team obtained Elder Drake siege into base and took the win.
Starting to go very low. Kick is tanking up the laser of the turret. It's half its health here. They don't want to fully commit to it just yet, but Power of Evil, he could go down in this. He's not very healthy, trying to stay alive, but the Nexus is bare. Now can they get the fight to save it? The Nexus is going down. They don't even need the fight. And G2 finish the 2-0.
Team Origen threw a near 4,000 gold lead while being up 7 kills. To catch on to Amazing resulted in a disappointing series. Their next series against UOL was not any better. Game 1 was a disaster with a 10-kill deficit and Exile deleting everyone on Origen with his LeBlanc.
3k gold lead now in their favor.
Yeah, look at this. This is exactly what's going to happen every time.
3-1 because it's going to get harder as we see another duel coming out. Exile, this man's on fire. He just needs one more round of cooldowns. Flash forward, distortion. That's a rampage.
Game 2 was no better than the first. Even with Xpeke swapped in for Power of Evil, all the fights were still in Unicorn's favor.
Get back to that later though. Soaz going in.
Veritas getting aggressive here, still alive on the back line. Soaz slowly burning down. He hits that low health point. Exile says, I'll take another one. Chain comes out. Hybrid. Lamb's respite going to be just that, a brief break before the kills start to come in here in favor of Unicorns of Love. Chachi gives his life, Forgiven grabs one, but the tower is next on the list.
Week 1 was terrible for Origen. However, things were about to get a lot worse the next week after. Days before Week 2, Forgiven left Team Origen. Official statement by the organization said that due to motivational issues, Forgiven would no longer be a part of the starting lineup. Forgiven put out a statement on his removal on Facebook. He first stated that he saw Origen as a way to qualify for Worlds instead of taking the easy way out and skipping the entire summer split. However, Origen started to lose 90% of their scrims and Forgiven saw Hidjarn leave due to motivational issues. Forgiven stated, "After numerous talks we had, I thought something needed to be changed, so I took the decision to take an indefinite break from League since I was playing more Overwatch than the game I was paid to play." His removal was once again a complete shock to the entire community. This change would also convey instability within the organization. Xpeke would be the one to replace Forgiven at AD Carry. This is the first time he's played AD Carry on a professional team. For the next 6 weeks, Team Origen played with a mid laner in the AD Carry position. They weren't doing well at all, with 6 ties, 1 win, and 1 loss. In the beginning of July, around week 6, it seemed that Team Origen was not going to make playoffs. But then, all hell broke loose in the organization. From July 5 to July 13th, an exodus occurred in Team Origen. Staff from all over the organization left, ranging from head coach Nico the Pico to high management like general manager Mark Papa Bear Hernandez. Among all who left, the general reason was due to payment problems and what they call a breach of trust. All their claims are as follows. One source claims that volunteers never received gear that they were promised in return for work and that the organization almost never brought up the possibility of regular payments. Another staff member accused management of stifling their ideas and refusing to listen to or consider feedback from employees. Origen's public relations staff were allegedly often kept in the dark about the roster and organization changes, only finding out about them when the management posted the news on the team's website. The departure of former head coach Nico the Pico, who left on July 6, was most likely the tipping point. The specifics of the situation isn't clear, but the staff were unhappy about how Origen handled his departure. Hermit has also stated that he's still owed money from his time during the 2015 World Championship. Even Forgiven added on to these grievances. Sources close to the team suggest that certain members were campaigning for him to be removed from the side. Once he found out about these activities, Forgiven lost motivation to play. Overall, the staff's lack of influence in decision-making coupled with payment troubles and overall bad internal management has caused an exodus from Team Origen. Moving forward in a split that was going off the rails, the only acquisitions Team Origen made was to fill the gaps. RNA would replace Nico the Pico as head coach and United Kingdom player Toaster would replace Xpeke in the bot lane. Unfortunately, Toaster would only play 3 series during his time in Origen. For some reason, Xpeke replaced him for the remainder of the split after losing to Giants Gaming in week 7. We will get to these reasons later. Team Origen ended the summer split in 9th place with a total of 12 game wins and 24 losses. They would not make it to the playoffs. Instead, they were sent to the relegations and they would be against Misfit Gaming. This series went all 5 games. Team Origen took game 1 and 3 and Misfits took game 2 and 4. Game 5 was a slugfest. It was a relatively even game in the 30-minute mark.
Well, the steal he's looking to come in, flashing, can he get it? He stole it away! That might be what they needed! Soa's in the back causing havoc as Power of Evil is trying to pick up some kills. Peke gets a double, but they have walked out with the Baron. Soa's going in for Hansama. Can't finish the job.
Even though Origen had the gold lead, Misfits was able to still stall out the late game teamfights and periodically catch Origen members out.
Unless they can close the trap. Oh, okay, they knock it. Power of Evil! He's gone golden for just a second, but the barrel will pop on him. Hansama picks him up, and Soa is just bailing out. Instantly, they've lost one man. They don't think they can do anymore.
The fate of both of these teams would be determined in the last fight of the series.
They have to fight this out. Barrel's gonna get popped. Baron's already down there. Soa's turns onto Selfie. Has to flash away. Big Barrel for the disengage. Can Misfits escape? Once again, amazing going in. He's getting chunked, but not as much as Selfie. Shut down. Hansama is out of there. And now Origen are charging down the line. And this is going to be it. Selfie goes gold, but he won't be going LCS today. GG Origen.
Team Origen was able to salvage a disaster of a season and at least survive for one more split in 2017. This team went from being considered world contenders to garbage in 1 year. Team Origen has defined themselves in 2016 with their stubbornness to change with the times and plagued with mismanagement at all levels. It's hard to predict a bright future for this team if they refuse to change. This would end up being a massive wake-up call for Xpeke if he wants to keep this team alive. Toaster, the temporary AD carry from week 5 to week 7, left the team. He gave insight into the team on his tweet longer. Originally, Toaster was brought in to try out during the 3rd and 4th week of the LCS because they needed an emergency sub for AD carry. However, they stuck with Xpeke due to his shot calling capabilities and he knew the lane assignments very well. When he eventually was given an opportunity, he felt he was massively inexperienced. In the last few weeks, they put Xpeke in AD carry more often when the team was down in morale. From Toaster's perspective, only a few in the team were motivated. Overall, he felt he was thrown into the deep end and sadly didn't meet expectations. Next, Hybrid left Team Origen. In a statement by the team, it reads, "We know he is one of the best players in his position, but perhaps the difficult circumstances of this split did not let him be 100% focused on the project as we expected. At first, we were very excited with the incorporation of Forgiven and Hybrid. We thought we had a great bot lane because both of them are great players. In fact, they were the best players that we could get at that moment. But to win games, not everything depends on the individual skill and quality as a player. The human factor, commitment to the team, helping out your teammates to create a good working environment for everyone so that everyone gives it their best are also highly influential." Essentially, the statement's tone pretty much said, "It's not us, it's you." The community felt that it was unprofessional for Origen to release such a statement. It is also unbelievable that the individual writing these PR statements was Xpeke's mother. On November 8th, the biggest off-season announcement occurred. Amazing and Soaz left Team Origen. It would be considered the end of an era for the organization as 4 of the starting players from the 2015 World Championship is no longer a part of the team. They left on good terms and were thankful for their time. It was the beginning of a new era for Team Origen. Xpeke would have to build a whole new roster from scratch. However, the big question remained, would Origen survive the 2017 spring split with a whole new team? Tune in next part to see the conclusion of Team Origen's EULCS run. My name is Kudo, and thank you for watching.
We are good players, and if we had a good game where everyone is on the same page, we can beat anyone. We have done it. We have done it in practice, we have done it on LCS, we have beat the best team, and we have lost against the worst team. It's gonna be more, like always, a fight against ourselves, because week after week we had chances to beat a team that we should beat and we lost. And then we face a team that we should lose, and then we beat them because we didn't care, and we're like, yeah, let's just play, for fun, and then we end up playing better. So it's gonna be your mentality once again, I think.